Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk is once again being sidelined by world leaders. There is no place for him at the negotiating table in the White House. The German Chancellor, the French President, the British Prime Minister and the head of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, will all be there. Donald Trump recognises that Donald Tusk's government is not an autonomous government, that it is a satellite of Germany, so separate talks with Donald Tusk make no sense. Almost the entire so-called coalition of the willing, a group led by left-wing establishment politicians from Western Europe, flew to Washington, D.C. Donald Tusk also lined up for a meeting with Donald Trump, but, as in the case of his recent visit to Ukraine, things turned out even worse. There, he ended up in the second carriage, and now he wasn't even invited. Instead of being in the first carriage, setting the tone, the narrative and pursuing Poland's raison d'etat, Donald Tusk is being pushed into the second carriage and is the lackey of Emmanuel Macron, Friedrich Merz and Ursula von der Leyen. This is very dangerous for Poland, although he assured his voters, I want to tell you that no one will really outplay me in the European Union. He was indeed right that no one will outplay him because no one plays with him, no one takes him seriously. I think he's the kind of person who passes balls or hands out jackets, and that is probably where his role ends. And when he has the opportunity to exchange a few words with the American leader, then, during this conversation, you exchange words with one another? No. You didn't say anything to Donald Trump? We introduced ourselves. No wonder then that before Donald Trump's meeting with Vladimir Putin in Alaska, when Trump called European leaders, he decided to skip the conversation with Prime Minister Tusk, and the Polish president participated in the conference instead. Because for Donald Trump, President Karol Nawrocki is a serious partner for security talks, and today, for obvious reasons, he did not appear in Washington, D.C. Today, a coalition of willing countries is meeting. Poland has been represented in this coalition by the Polish government for a long time, and it was President Zelensky who invited the European leaders who are to be in Washington today. And the President of Poland is the only leader in Europe today who in the near future, on the 3rd of September, will meet President Donald Trump, during which security issues and peace in Ukraine will be among the most important topics. I would like to inform you that the discussion on participation in the joint visit of the so-called Coalition of the Willing to the United States with Volodymyr Zelensky took place with the participation of Minister Radosław Sikorski. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Poland did not express Poland's readiness to participate in this visit. The President of Poland is planning a visit to the United States on the 3rd of September. President Karol Nawrocki will present Poland's raison d'etat to Donald Trump during a private conversation. If he flew today, he would be one of many and still in a coalition formed de facto by Germany. What is the coalition of the willing? It is a coalition of those willing to send troops to Ukraine, and we have not signed up to this coalition. The government probably wanted to, but there was so much public resistance that they didn't really want to. The Polish president certainly does not agree to this. President Nawrocki, during the election campaign, but also after the election campaign as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, clearly stated that he would not agree to Polish soldiers being sent to war in Ukraine. There was no place for Donald Tusk, and for good reason. He earned the American leaders' disregard. Notorious, numerous, repeated taunts, mockery and the ridicule of Donald Trump expressed by Donald Tusk and Radosław Sikorski. This only emphasizes that they had to pay for it, that these are people who are not mature enough for the positions they hold. With such gestures and words, Donald Tusk has exposed himself. Trump's dependence on the Russian services is today undeniable. It is difficult for the President of the United States, the world's greatest superpower, to take such a person seriously. Why should he talk to a servant when he can talk to the servant's boss? In politics, words and gestures are of great importance, as Donald Tusk has once again found out.